Today we continue our discussion and we're going to use the whiteboard today. And the whole idea is to keep you focused on three things: awareness, balance, and simplicity. You may want to write these down because these will be the things that we're going to be discussing briefly as we go through. We're also going to be discussing briefly non-duality. Non-duality. Sounds like a big word, but not really. And we're going to break that down. And non-duality, we're going to talk about a big word, equanimity, Equanimity. And then there's going to be harmony, Harmony, and the way as in the great way. And we're going to talk, the last but not least, as I said, simplicity, balance, awareness, equanimity, harmony, and the way, and of course, non-duality. These are the areas that we're going to focus on when we use the whiteboard. These are all areas that gives us some insight into Zen. Keeping in mind that Zen is none of these things in and of themselves, but Zen as a practice involves all of these things. And we don't care about who brought it to the front. We're not trying to impart any kind of knowledge or any kind of uh, information that is going to help you meditate better. We hope that you will be meditating on a regular basis by your own actions, because in the end, that's what's going to count more than anything else. Um, we got maybe 2 minutes before our series for the day is over. Let's start with non-duality. Non-duality. And the way to get to this is to get these off the board here, and then we'll start over. That's the back beauty of a whiteboard. It stays up there briefly, and then it's gone. It disappears almost as quickly as it as it goes up. But in this case, we're going to erase it here, and then we're going to go in with the subject of non-duality. Well, let's leave green, and we're going to start with non-duality. Non-duality. What does that mean? Normally, the human mind divides. The human mind breaks things down into division. It always divides. It always divides things into what we call opposites. We think in terms of what? Good. And then the opposite would be what? Bad. We think in terms of right. And the opposite would be what? Wrong. We think in terms of success. And the opposite would be what? Clearly, failure. We think in terms of self, and then the opposite would be other. These are all what I call non-dualistic or non-duality. And this division keeps us from becoming a unit. Zen teaches us that these divisions, when we divide, are created by a thinking mind. And that's what we have to get rid of. And you probably think, wow, how do I get rid of a thinking mind? Well, that's what this whole exercise is all about. Reality, and we're going to leave you on this before we go to our next lesson. Reality, that's what's real. Reality itself, reality is not N-O-T, underline, divided. Now, if we could ever get just that part of this equation covered, this is where everything is going. Life is one continuous whole. And we're going to share some examples about that in our lesson tomorrow. Talk to you then.